Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for returning back in. It is Friday, which means Attic Find Friday. Really excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them. Last week's was awesome. Got great feedback. Got a ton of views. I even heard from Darren, the son. Was last week's the Fantastic Collection? I think it was. I'm already losing track of time, guys. I've heard from the son, and he sent me some pictures of the sports cards. And we've tried having calls since then. Hasn't worked out so far, but I'm going to get more info from him on the sports cards, and then I'll do a follow-up video. It won't be another Attic Find Friday because I've already done one on that, and I don't want to. So let's bring this down a little bit. So today, first of all, yesterday I was on Hobby Think Tank talking about ethics in sports cards. Go check that out on Bench Clear Media. Tomorrow I'm on Bench Clear Media again on Hobby Hotline, 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't know what we're talking about yet. I think I'll get the list of topics tonight. Excited about that. That's my first time on Hobby Hotline, so go over, check that out, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. It is live, so come and heckle me, I guess. I don't know. This one is a big sports card find, and it's the story comes to us from Sports Collectors Daily. They always do awesome with these stories, so give them credit to that. And some of the details also come from Blowout Forums. The guy who found it, Rob DuBrey, I think is how it's pronounced, was posting everything there. And the photos are mostly gone from there, but they were saved by Sports Collectors Daily, and I grabbed a bunch of them from there. So really happy about that. A lot of vintage baseball, football, basketball in this. So let's get started. Rob DuBrey lives in Washington State. He's a manager at a local Lowe's hardware store there. And on the side, he likes to buy a lot of collections, and then he sells them on eBay and other places. He says that 90% of what he buys is usually junk. He buys it cheap. A lot of his junk. He's looking for the big wins in these. And there's not a big sports card presence in that northwest corner of Washington State, 15 minutes from Canada. So if he does get some sports cards, he's one of the few people selling sports cards in that area. So in this case, a local resident that he had contact with was selling a large toy collection in a storage shed. So it's not an attic find. It's not a traditional find, but it's still awesome. So Rob went over to this guy's house and was just stunned at the volume of things in this storage shed. He said there were 8 storage containers, and this one's really hard for me to believe, but he said each of the 8 storage containers were 20 feet long by 8 feet wide by 8 feet tall, which is crazy to me. That's a lot of stuff in there. He said it was wall-to-wall toys. There was unopened Legos, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff, the pizza thrower. Most of the stuff was from the 1990s. He paid the guy $1,500 and then also promised to give him 40% of profits after he doubled his investment. So he said, once I get to $3,000, everything on top of that, I'll give you 40% for. And the guy agreed to it. Really good way to handle this type of thing, I think. Smart. You're building a relationship. The guy trusts you. Then, after they've made this deal, he said, hey, do you have any sports cards? And the guy, he's looking around. There's stuff everywhere. And he's just basically buying almost everything sight unseen. And the sports cards, the guy says, yeah, I do. Let me show them to you. And they were not part of the deal. He only agreed to buy the toys at the time. So the guy walks him through. He's got like a 2-foot wide space between these storage containers, and he walks back, and there's boxes everywhere. And there in the back is a massive, what Rob calls a hoard of sports cards. He said the whole thing was a hoard. Getting there was just toys and comics. In the back of the shed was stacks and boxes of sports cards, 4 feet high, 18 feet long. So then he just almost sight unseen said, I'll give you $1,500 for the rest of this too. Figured it was worth the risk. He looked at the boxes. There was a lot of unopened stuff, a lot of wax, and he thought $1,500 seems reasonable. So same deal, $1,500 for all of this, and then once he doubles his money, 40% of everything else. pretty good deal. So he gives the guy $3,000 for everything: the toys, the comics, the sports cards. Once he hits $6,000, he gives the guy 40% of everything on top of that. Smart way to do it. The boxes were labeled a lot of like junk wax type boxes. So he thought it'll be tough to make his money back. He should be fine based on the unopened wax. But he said it was labeled a lot of junk wax, and he didn't have time to go through much of anything or even look at many of the boxes. He said it was a big risk, could all be 1991 Fleer baseball cards. The first thing he opened was actually 1990 Donruss baseball. Not the best. Then he found a box of 1990-91 Fleer basketball, which is better, of course, still mass-produced. Then there was a box labeled 1990 Donruss singles, and he opened that. Inside was a clear, unopened bag of 1985 Court Kings jumbos with Michael Jordan on the front. And that now, and this was 2016, now PSA is grading these, they're worth a lot more money. This was a complete set of the Court Kings jumbo cards. So pretty cool stuff, but it gets better. Next box he opened had a lot of 1986 Fleer. He saw the Magic Johnson, the Dr. J, and then there was the Jordan rookie. First the sticker, and then the base card. And he said he was shaking as he held it, and he was looking at it thinking he had a PSA 7 or PSA 8. It actually came back a 5, which he was surprised at, but still, PSA 5, worth about $3,000 today in 2023. They're selling for about that much on eBay. But then he also said that he sent it to he cracked it out of the PSA slab and sent it to BGS, and I didn't see an update on what BGS gave it. People were joking that BGS would probably give it a 9.5. This was in blowout forums. Who knows? He had the whole set, including the stickers of 86 Fleer. Pretty awesome. And that's an iconic basketball card set, 1986 Fleer. There are people who collect only 1986 Fleer basketball in PSA slabs, and they're trying to get all in a 7, all in an 8. Then he found 3 boxes of 1984 Topps football. There were 13 loose John Elway rookies in there. 12 of them he was sending off to PSA. He said they all looked amazing. One of them was off center. So 12 Elway rookies. One box had 1988 written on it, so he opened it up and he found Fleer basketball unopened, 1988-89. Unopened boxes worth well into the 5 figures now. They were untouched. They still had the spacers between the boxes. And then he found more Star Jordans. And the Star Jordans, as you know now, they blew up in value in 2022. And they're going to, well, some of them are going to go up this year. The 85s, the ones that PSA is just now starting to grade are going up in value. The one from last year going down, but still, they'll still be way higher than they were in 2016. Then he found a complete set of 87-88 Fleer basketball. 87-88 Fleer, so the 86 set was mass produced. And I'm going by memory here, so correct me if I'm wrong, please. The 86 set was mass produced and it was wildly unpopular. Retailers couldn't sell boxes of unopened packs for $10. So Fleer reduced production for 87, 88. And so it's far less in supply than 86 was, and of course 88 and 89. So the 87 set is pretty valuable now. And he had the whole set of 87, 88 Fleer basketball. By the way, also let me know in comments, what is your favorite find out of all of this? There's a lot of awesome stuff here. These photos come from Sports Collectors Daily, but they actually originally came from Blowout Forums. They were owned, the photos were by Rob. He found a box of 1981 Topps football. The top had 4 top-loaded Joe Montanas. So even though this had been sitting out in this for decades, they knew to put them in top loaders. Probably no, I didn't think to look, but I'll have this picture up here. Probably no sleeves in those top loaders. Then in some 30-pound potato boxes, There were vending cases of 1989-90 OPC hockey, 22 boxes in each case. Then he found the binders. There was a binder of 1971 Topps Baseball Supers, a binder with a complete set of 1969 Topps Football Under loose packs of 1990 Score Hockey. Zero organization of this collection whatsoever. Fascinating stuff. There was a clean Joe Namath, a clean Johnny Unitas, a clean Dick Butkus, a clean Gale Sayers. He has sent a ton of cards off to PSA. I couldn't find any results of anything other than that Jordan. He also found a binder of 1976-77 Topps Basketball with all the superstars, all the Hall of Famers. He found, this is a wild one, 240 complete sets, untouched, of 2000 multi-ad Midwest League top prospect sets. In there, he found 362 Albert Pujols pre-rookies, minor league cards. And then he came back and posted later and said he found 150 more. He also found 250 Miguel Cabreras from the same time, pre-rookie cards. And now those Pujols aren't incredibly valuable, but PSA 10s go for like $150 or so. So he found 500-ish of the Pujols. Say if 200 are PSA 10s, say $100 profit from each of those, you got tens of thousands of dollars right there. At the bottom of a box, he found untouched packs of 1951 Topps Redback Baseball. But he said he was worried that, I was reading through the forum, he was worried that they were sitting, because things were sitting on top of them, that they may have been opened originally. So in the Sports Collectors Daily article, it says that they were unopened, but he did discover a sheet of paper that listed the cards that were in the packs. So they had been opened, gone through, somebody wrote down all the cards that were found in the packs, and they were put back in the packs, and then somebody put something on top of the packs that resealed them. Pretty interesting. I wonder if like BBCE would have caught that. If I don't know if he sent them, he was talking about sending a lot of stuff off to Baseball Card Exchange to get authenticated, to increase the value of them and be able to sell them for more. He also found a box of 1956 Topps Football, complete set, all in top loaders. This is amazing, guys. Again, let me know what's your favorite in here. He found some late 1940s Leaf football cards. He found a ton of sets of 1989 Upper Deck. He pulled out all of the Griffies because the sets were already opened. So he just pulled the Griffies out, sent them off to PSA, and a bunch of them came back as 5s, he said. So disappointing, of course. They looked really good, but people speculated that because they were in the set for a while, they were scratched from the cards around them. I don't know. He said that he made back that $1,500 really quickly just selling junk wax boxes, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a lot of junk wax boxes in this collection. He figured that there were more than 2 million cards in there, which, I mean, 2 million seems like a pretty easy place to get when you have all those unopened boxes, you have all those sets. He said that the man he called G, the guy that he said, and some people were saying they should call it G's Hoard. Let's call it G's Hoard, I guess. The man and his brother had bought this stuff years and years ago, and they were just trying to clear it all out at this point. So Rob went over and helped him clear it out. The interesting thing is that Rob said that this guy, G, was keeping his good cards in a safe deposit box at the bank. You gotta wonder if Jordan Rookie isn't one of his good cards and those vintage basketball and football cards aren't his good cards. What are his good cards? I want to talk to G. I want to know what is in that safe deposit box. All right, if you're new here, I do weekly Attic Find Fridays. Obviously, they're not all in attics. Sometimes they're going to be in a basement. Sometimes they're going to be in a storage shed or a storage space. Click that subscribe button. I think you'll really enjoy this series. And I'll be back again on Sunday. Check out Hobby Hotline tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Thanks for watching.